Hi guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I am doing my very first spring makeup tutorial and I'm so excited and I'm in a great mood today because it is our first warm day here in Ohio. It is in the 60s and I could not be more excited. And next week I see that it's supposed to be pretty decent weather as well. It's supposed to be in the 40s to mid 50s. So I'm so excited. So hopefully, fingers crossed, no more cold days and it's just going to be getting warmer from here. Now currently right now it is raining outside. So my video, it starts off kind of a little bit more vibrant because there's more light, because when I first start filming it is not raining. But unfortunately the rain came, so this is what we're dealing with. I do have like my iPhone flashlight down facing up towards me, so hopefully it's radiating a little bit of light, but it's just not going to be as vibrant as it typically would be if the sun is shining. Because I don't have professional lighting, I just sit in front of a window and I just use the light that I have for the day. So I really love this makeup look. I think it is super fun to wear and it's something that I feel like is wearable even though it is more vibrant colors. So I love it. I have my little spring earrings in. I have like a really cute pastel shirt on that has like some pastel colors in it. So I am so excited and I'm super excited that I'm finally going to be able to start filming spring and summer makeup tutorials very soon and get to work more with like colors and everything like that. So I will have everything that I used listed down below, so don't forget to check that out. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so then the palette that I'm going to be using for today is going to be one that I actually got last year, so it's not available anymore, I don't believe. I can double check, but I think it was just limited edition. But this is the Patrick Starrr x MAC collaboration, and it is the Play With Me eyeshadow palette right here. So it's just like really bright, pretty springy colors. Now, if you don't have this palette, that's totally fine. I just bought this palette not because I watch Patrick or anything on YouTube. I just bought it because I think the colors are super pretty. And so if you don't have this palette, that is completely fine. Like you can use anything that is similar, just like a really pretty pink color and like a really pretty blue and like a mauve shade. Those are the colors that I'm going to be primarily using in this palette. So like if you have anything similar, that is completely fine. Don't feel like you can't do this look if you don't have this palette, because if you have anything similar, you can totally achieve this look. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my eyes first. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but that is what I'm going to do because I don't want any like bright eyeshadow having any fallout onto my face when I do my foundation. So I will start off by priming my eyes with some concealer. And then I'm going to go ahead and set that with a little bit of a translucent powder just so my eyeshadow does not crease. So I have done this makeup look before, but I actually did it last spring. So by doing this look, I was completely inspired by the campaign photo that you'll see Patrick wearing if you have seen the campaign photo. So that is what I was inspired by. So I am just going to be recreating the same look that I did last year because it is super springy, and today it is definitely super springy here. It warmed up and I'm so excited, even though it's rainy, but I'd rather have rainy warm weather than snowy cold weather or just cold weather in general. So yay. So the first color that I'm going to go in with in the palette is going to be this one right here, and it is just like a purpley mauve shade. I don't really know how to describe it, but if you have anything that's like a deeper like mauve color like this, then that'll be completely fine. But I'm just going to be taking my fluffy brush and I'm going to be using that as my transition shade in my crease. So then once I have that down, the next color that I'm going to go in with is going to be this really pretty pink color right here in the palette, and I'm going to be taking a more precise blending brush and dipping into that color, tapping off the excess. And I'm gonna start off with a little bit because I don't wanna go in with too much color initially. And I'm going to place that down in my crease area a little bit lower than that transition shade that we went in with. And I'm bringing that color all the way from outer corner to the inner corner of the eye as well. And then I'm gonna go with a couple layers to build up that color, but in between each layer, I'm going to take a fluffy brush with nothing extra on it, and I'm just going to lightly blend out the edges of the eyeshadow. Okay, so I really took my time with blending out that color and adding in layers. I added in a total of 3 layers to build up the intensity because it's not super sheer, but it's not like a super intense pigmented color. So I wanted to build that up a little bit. So then the next color that I'm going to go in with is this really pretty blue color right here. It's almost kind of like a cobalt blue, like a really dark cobalt blue. So I'm going to just take the same brush. I'm gonna wipe it off a little bit so I don't have like a ton of pink on it. And then this color is going to go on my lid. So dipping into that, I'll tap off the excess. And I'm going to start placing this down on my lid. Now, as you can see, this color is actually pretty sheer. So I'm gonna have to build this one up as well. Now, as you can see with this color, we are definitely getting a lot of that fallout under here, and that is why I went in with my eyeshadow first, to avoid that problem, because that is what makeup wipes are for. So with this color, I didn't bring it up past the crease. I wanted to really focus it on the lid, but still with it blending it out, it just kind of meshed with that pink a little bit and made it turn almost like a purpley color. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of that pink on like a fluffier brush. Just dip into that color lightly, and then I'm going to kind of run over the edges of that blue, so then it kind of adds a little bit more of that pink into it. I mean, if it's obviously gonna turn a purpley color just because pink and blue mixed together turns purple. So, I mean, that's fine, but I don't want it to look too purple. I want it to have a little bit more of that pink shining through. So I'm gonna add a little bit more pink back in. Okay, so I don't think it's gonna turn back to pink, which is fine. That is completely fine because this will still look springy. So keep that in mind when using pinks and blues together. Your pinks will more than likely turn to like a purpley color once you like start blending. And I was actually being pretty, careful with the blending. So, I mean, it happens, so it's whatever. It'll look fine, it'll look good. Okay, so we definitely have crazy fallout from that blue eyeshadow, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a makeup wipe and wipe this off, and I will be right back. Okay, so then now that we have the blue fallout wiped away, now we look so much better and less like a crazy person. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my skin, and like always, I'm going to be using my Smashbox Photo Finish Smoothing Primer, and sorry if there's like a glare, but I'm just going to put this all over my face for a smoothing effect. And do you guys like it when I like speed through, like fast forward like my foundation routine and like other aspects? Like I'll go slow with like one eye, like at normal speed, but then I'll like film up the footage for the other eye, like I did in my last video. I don't know, I kind of like it. It's kind of different than having like music playing. So I personally kind of like it. So let me know if you like that, because if you do, I'll continue doing it, which I'll probably end up doing it for this video as well. But I don't know, I kind of like it. So then next, I'm just going to put some concealer on any little acne scarring that I have, and mine are fading very nicely. So I'm super excited about that. Now I'm gonna set that with a little bit of powder so my foundation does not disturb the concealer that I just laid down. And then for my foundation today, I'm going to be going in with my Dior Forever foundation right here. I can't tell if it's focused or not, so sorry if it's not focused. Now I have mentioned before that I'm super sad because they have discontinued this foundation. Thanks a lot, Dior, but I will list down below their other one that they came out with that I think is supposed to be, my guess, similar to this. So I haven't personally tried it. I'm gonna have to, I guess, but I'll list that one down below, obviously, instead of this one, since this is discontinued and I cannot find it anywhere. So Taking my Real Technique sponge, I'm going to blend that out. Okay, so then next I'm gonna go ahead and apply my concealer, and same as always, I'm going to be using my Cover FX Power Play Concealer right here. And it's about to storm, so sorry if like it's super dark on my video, but it really got darker outside from when I first started filming, so sorry. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and set my concealer with my Ben Nye Cameo translucent powder right here. And then for the outer perimeters of my face, I'm going to use my Lancome Long Time No Shine translucent powder right here because I used it my last video, I believe, and I really liked how it set the outer perimeters of my face. Okay, so then now that my foundation is done, I'm gonna go ahead and fill my brows in off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and bronze my face, and like always, I'm going to be using my Marc Jacobs Tan-tastic Bronzer right here, and just warm up my skin. And then I'm going to take my little Sigma brush like always, and then take that same bronzer and then warm up the center of my face. So down the sides of my nose and underneath of my lip. So I want to add a little bit more warmth to my skin. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Hoola bronzer, and I am just going to add a little bit of this and add it to my cheeks and my forehead to, like I said, warm up the skin a little bit more. Okay, so then now that we have our bronzer done, I'm gonna go ahead and move to my lower lash line. And going back to the quad, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which was that first shade that we went in with in our crease. And taking my Sigma brush, I'm going to dip into that and then run it along my lower lash line, kind of as like a transition shade underneath of the lower lash line. And then with this color, I actually am extending it a little bit past, like normally I'll stop at like where this tear duct starts right here. So with this color, I'm actually going to extend it out a little bit more into like this inner corner right here. If you see any shadows on my face or anything, it's because it, like I said, it's about to storm. So it ended up getting too dark to where it would like defeat the purpose of filming, because it like everything looked like too dark. So I actually have my iPhone light down here below me, and like I have the flashlight on, so that's like casting a light on me so we can see a little bit better. So if you see like any shadows like from my hands or anything, that is what that's from. It's from my iPhone flashlight. Because I don't have any professional lighting. I just use like a window, like I just sit like right in front of a window and I use whatever light I'm getting that day. So this is what we are working with. Okay, so then it'll look like that once you get it blended out. Now I'm going to take my flat definer brush from Sigma right here, and I'm going to dip into that blue eyeshadow, tap off the excess, and I am going to push that tightly along that lash line. And the same thing with this color, I am going to bring that past that tear duct area and bring it into this inner corner. So then I'll kind of like scooch in a little bit, but you can kind of see, hopefully, how I brought this in right there. So it kind of just like, I didn't bring it like all the way into this inner corner, but I just brought it past that tear duct right there. And then with this color, I am keeping it tight up against that lash line because I don't want to bring this color down too far. I actually don't want like a ton of this blue to be like super smoked out at the bottom. Okay, so then now I'm going to take my pencil brush and I'm going to go in very gently with it and just kind of run along the edges. I don't want to smoke this color out too much. So I'm just lightly smoking it out a little bit, but I don't want it to be anything like too blown out and crazy underneath of there like I normally do. I actually want it to be quite soft with the color. And I like barely did anything with that pencil brush. And then I'm gonna go back in with that flat definer brush and then just add a little bit more blue tightly along that lash line area. Now I'm gonna go back in with that fluffier Sigma brush that I used to put the first shade underneath of there. And I'm going to dip into the smallest amount of that pink, like literally just on like, here's that pink. I like barely dip in to where it's just on the very tip of this brush right here. And I'm going to run it lightly along the lower portion of that blue to add a little pop of pink in there. And I'm going in with the lightest pressure, like I can barely feel the bristles on my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my brow bone and inner corner, and normally I go in with MAC Nylon eyeshadow because that is my personal favorite highlight to use for my brow bone and inner corner. But today I'm gonna switch it up and I'm going to be using MAC Shroom. So it is right here. I don't know if that's focused or not. It looks like it is, but this one, it's more of like a frostier shade. Like for MAC Nylon, that's a little bit, has like a little bit more of like a yellow tone to it. So it's like a frostier yellow tone. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a little bit warmer than this. But I'm gonna go ahead and switch it up because I use MAC Nylon all the time. And I used to use MAC Shroom all of the time before I got into nylon. So I'm gonna switch it up and use this today. And I'm just going to highlight the high point of my brow. All right, so I have my brow bone and inner corner highlight done, and it's kind of lightening up outside a little bit. It's still cloudy and rainy, but it's not as dark as what it was when the clouds were rolling in. So that is a plus. But I am going to go ahead and add a shadow in my waterline. And the reason why I'm gonna add an eyeshadow in here is because I'm gonna go in with a brown color, and I don't have a brown eyeliner, sadly. So if you have a brown eyeliner, you can totally use that. But I'm going to improvise and use an eyeshadow. So the color that I'm going to use is going to be Fudge from Anastasia. And another trick also with an eyeshadow in your waterline is that if your eyes are really watery and eyeliner doesn't stay in your waterline very well, you can apply an eyeliner and then take an eyeshadow of the same color. So for instance, if you're using like a black eyeliner, put that in there and then take a black eyeshadow and then gently kind of pat that over top of that eyeliner in your waterline. And then it'll kind of help like set the eyeliner so then it doesn't like move around too quickly throughout the day. So that is like a trick that you can do if you have super watery eyes and eyeliner, like you put it on and it lasts for maybe like 10 minutes because your eyes are so watery. So try that trick if you ever have an issue with your eyeliner holding in place. And then for this, I'm just going to be taking my flat definer brush and I'm wiping off that blue color. And then I will dip into this eyeshadow and then just stamp it in my waterline. And if you're doing this method, just make sure you tap off the excess eyeshadow just so you don't have any like debris floating around in your eye and irritating it. Okay, so then with that brown also, I'm going to take that shadow, and if you're using an eyeliner, just do this with an eyeliner, and I'm going to put it on this very inner tear duct right here. So actually I should have did this before I highlighted my inner corner, but that's fine. If you have to, you can go over with a little bit of highlight again. But I'm going to put this around the inner rim of this tear duct right here. I have to be very careful with this since I'm not using an eyeliner and I'm using a brush, because I don't want it to get too, I don't want it to get like too brown in there. I just want it on the very inner corner. So I'm actually going to use my mirror a lot closer so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I got that shadow in there, and I have a little bit of debris in my eye, which you're gonna get that with shadow even if you tap off excess anyway, just because it's a shadow. So next I'm gonna go ahead and apply my mascara off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I have my mascara on. You could totally go ahead and apply lashes, but I just never wear them anymore, as I've mentioned before. So I'm just not going to apply them, but lashes would look super pretty if you want to elevate the look even more. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply my blush, and I'm going to be using the blush from the collection, because it came in like a box where you get like a blush and an eyeshadow palette, and then you got some, I believe like a lipstick and a lip gloss, I believe. So I'm just going to be using the same blush, so if you have it, that's great. If not, I will kind of describe this one, but this is like what the blush looks like. I don't know if it's focused or not, but it's like more like a duo blush, so I'm going to mix the two. So really, if you have anything that's like a mauve-y color, that'll work perfectly fine, because that's kind of like what this blush is almost more like a mauve-y shade with like, I'm mixing it with like kind of like a nudish pink color. So I mean, anything that's going to be more of like a mauve-y tone blush, I feel like would work perfectly fine. So if you have something similar, use that. All right, and then so for my highlight today, I'm going to be using MAC's, which I'm using a lot of MAC products today, I see. Eyeshadow, blush, highlight. I'm going to be using my MAC Whisper of Guilt, and like I mentioned in my last video, this is just limited edition packaging that I got last winter. So they still have the highlight, it's just not going to be in this packaging anymore. So I'm going to put that on the high points of my cheeks, on my nose, and Cupid's bow. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyebrows, and I'm going to be using my Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade 3.5, and then set that with my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. For my lips today, I will be going in with Maybelline's Blushing Beige Lipstick, and it is just a really nude color right here. I mentioned this in my January favorites, I believe. So this is just a really pretty nude, and I got a backup because I don't know if they're discontinuing this color, but I can't find it on Ulta or anywhere else. The only place I could find it is at Walmart. So I got a backup. So on top of this lipstick, I'm going to be applying a gloss, and I'm going to be applying my Bare Minerals lip gloss in the shade Fly. So this one is also super empty as well, because I used it constantly during the summer, but I don't know if it's focused or not. There we go, I think it's focused, but it's just like a really pretty bronzy color, and it has like little reflects of gold in it. Nothing that you can necessarily see on the lips, but it adds like a really pretty shine. But this one is another one of my favorite glosses that I like to wear, more so during the summertime because it's more of like a bronzier shade. So I think it complements my skin tone more during the summer when I have my self tanner on all of the time. But I want to add a little bit of color, like a bronzy color to my lips. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this on top. I'm not
receiving something I must be unaware. I've got a feeling I am just a jaded girl. I feel unlovable.
So I think a bronzy lip looks really complementary with this look. I think it pulls it all together instead of using something super nude. But I didn't want this gloss to be too bronzy, so that's why I applied a pretty nude lipstick on the bottom. So then it would kind of make the bronzy color not so bronzy. It kind of washed it out just a little bit. But this gloss is super pretty on its own during the summertime with a tan. I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and not set my face today. I'm gonna see how it does without using a setting spray, just because sometimes I feel like I like the Tarte 4-in-1 setting mist, but sometimes I feel like it almost makes me like a little bit shinier quicker than what I would normally be. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that step, but this makeup look is complete. So that completes this makeup tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. I really love this look. I think it is super pretty. And with that pink not being super pink, I still think it's okay with it turning kind of like a pinkish purple in this crease area. I feel like it still looks really pretty. So I did my best with trying to keep some light in the video, but I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit so then you can kind of see what the eyeshadow looks like up close, because I don't feel like the video is gonna turn out as vibrant as what it looks like in person. Like I said, I do have my little iPhone flashlight kind of shining at me from down like in front of me, but I still don't think it's gonna look as vibrant. So I'm gonna zoom you in. And then this is what the eyeshadow looks like, kind of how it resembles in person. I feel like it may not be as vibrant still just because it's so dark out, but this is like kind of like the idea of like what it looks like. So I really love it. I think it is super pretty. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my first spring makeup tutorial. I'm excited for spring to be here so I can start busting out more spring videos and using more like brighter colors like this. I think it's super fun. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would love to have you here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
So put your hands on my body like there's something